Hi, everyone. Welcome to Software Savvy Tech Talk for Non-Tech People, the Metova podcast that dives deep into the world of technology, strategy, and innovation. I'm your host, Alondra Cruz, and today we're talking about strategy and tech reviews, which are crucial tools for any business that's looking to get started in today's fast-paced digital environment. In this episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with two key players in the tech strategy game, our very own Chief Strategy Officer, Jonathan Sasse, and our Chief Technology Officer, Andrew Cowart. They're here today to unpack the ins and outs of Metova's unique approach to strategy and tech reviews, and why, for a limited time, we'll be offering exclusive complimentary sessions to qualified customers. All right, Andrew, Jonathan, thank you for joining us here today. I figured we could get started with giving us a quick background on your experience and your expertise. Jonathan, do you want to get started?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I run strategy for Metova. Been in the technology space for over 25 years now, having done a number of startups in the entertainment space and in the telecommunications space, mobile applications, consumer electronics, you name it. And over the past 5 or 10 years or so, worked across many different industries from healthcare and hospitality, fintech and logistics, getting an opportunity to work with a lot of different companies, faced with a lot of different customer challenges, and really just trying to help people pave a better way to the future and have a good plan of how they might execute things when they might be a little bit stuck right now and not know what to do.
Andrew?
Howdy, I'm Andrew Cowart, Metova CTO. I've been doing application development since 2008. In that time, I've really worked on a number of everything from big projects, Dropbox, eHarmony, Yelp, AP News, really big complex projects, and a lot of startups as well. At that time, I've really learned that the requirements of those two are vastly different, and the processes and tools that those two industries need are very different. And through this process, I'm hoping to work with organizations and see kind of where they fall on that scale and what processes and tools and other technology needs they have and how they're being met and how we can help them.
Right. So I think what we're trying to incorporate to help potential customers in that journey are these free reviews that we're doing. So could we do maybe like a brief overview of what these reviews will look like? Obviously, we'll have one for the strategy side of things and also for the tech review. So Jonathan, do you want to get started explaining what your strategy review will look like?
Sure. In our strategy reviews, typically what we're looking to do is spend some time, usually an hour or two, with the core stakeholders in an organization and really start exploring kind of where you are in the process. What do you have today? What are you trying to build for in the future? What are your customers looking for from you? Why did they hire you in the first place? Where they're finding friction in your process or flows. This could also be focused on your internal teams and processes. It could be the partners or clients you work with. So whether it's a B2B or a B2C effort, regardless, there's going to be times where you're trying to take a look at what are the customers I have and what are they asking of me? And for us to walk through some of those questions and help put together a bit of a scorecard for you so that you could kind of assess where you've got strengths, where you've got assets and documentation and plans, roadmaps, user flows, customer personas, things like this, and where you've got needs. Where do you have holes in your knowledge or your awareness of what your customers are looking for, and where the opportunities might be in your industry, where there might be opportunities for innovation. But primarily is trying to figure out is how do I make my customers happy? How do I take advantage of the things that I'm really good at? And how far along in the process am I really? And so we'll walk you through a series of those kinds of questions, help you understand a little bit more about what the landscape looks like, what other companies are doing, and how you might position yourselves, whether that's a ranking or a rating of how far along am I in the process and how far away am I from maybe being able to define the right experience and then go build the right things for the future.
And then Andrew, you usually do longer assessments. How will this tech review differ from the more drawn out tech assessments that you're used to doing?
Sure. So with a tech assessment, the longer version, we're going really deep into every part of your organization at a technical level. If you have custom code, we're looking at it. If you have websites, we're checking them out. We're trying to check for security vulnerabilities. We're checking scalability. We're checking everything that we can and everything that you care about from a business sense. For a review, it operates a lot more like Jonathan's strategy review that we just talked about. So it's really split into two segments based on where you're planning on going. So what your technology roadmap looks like, if you have one, and then where are you at now? Because where you're at now and where you're looking to go, that's going to definitely inform what that process looks like of that transformation.
Is there anything that customers that are looking to maybe book one of these sessions, is there anything that they could plan ahead and maybe organize before speaking to either of you guys?
I think in order to best prepare, because we're going to be talking about maybe a 1 or 2 hour window for a conversation or meeting, is having your core stakeholders available during that time slot is going to be really important. These are the people who have maybe the vision, some of the experience, some of the institutional knowledge, so that we have the best representation to quickly ask questions and get answers so that we can get as much information during that session as possible. That's going to be really important. Further to that, I suppose I would say is any of the challenges that you're already facing. So if you already have questions, it could be, we're not sure if we need an AI solution. We're not sure if we need a mobile application. We're not sure if our current e-commerce platform is good enough. We've got questions or concerns, or maybe it's we've identified some things our competitors are doing and we're trying to figure out if that's a lane we need to be in. So bringing some of the concerns or fears to that conversation is really helpful, as well as anybody who has a core stake in the organization that's thinking about this stuff on a pretty regular basis, so that we can have a good open dialogue and try and really understand where there's opportunities and where you might have things covered really nicely.
Andrew, is there a series of questions that you'll be asking the people that you're meeting with that maybe they can start preparing?
Sure. So I'd say probably the biggest thing that you need to prepare, or that hopefully prepare for a tech review, is some sort of map of your current architecture. I'm not looking for deep architecture diagrams, even as basic as these are the tools that we have. These are how we use those tools. This is how the data flows. And whether that's custom or off the shelf, kind of what tools are you using, how are you using them? From there, it's really unique to each client.
And how do the strategy and technology assessments complement one another as our clients are meeting with both of you? Jonathan?
As you get into a full assessment on either side, they definitely complement each other in a big way. On a full engagement, in many occasions, we're working at strategies, working up front to help define the project that the technology and development team are going to implement. And so there's a very clear intersection, and a lot of times they run in parallel together. You just flex up or down on each side or the other. On the review side of things, this is going to be where we're trying to help you understand what do you have from a technology perspective. But then from my seat on the strategy side, I'm going to be looking at more through the lens of your customer and or your business and your partners, which is trying to get a better understanding of, are you meeting the needs of your customer? Do you wholly understand the needs of your customer? Are there challenges in working with you that can be solved through new products, new technology? So really going to be primarily looking at the people who you're trying to serve, and the people who are hiring you we're really focusing that lens in that area. And I would say probably for Andrew, and to have him feeling better here, but looking at what do we have as an organization? What tools do we have? What's our ecosystem look like? And does it eventually inform the needs that I have from those customers? Like, are these two things compatible, or do I need to evolve my thinking in both areas?
Andrew, do you want to follow up?
Following on to what Jonathan said, his team during a strategy assessment will usually produce documents in terms of useful ideas of where you might go in the future, what your customer is looking for, what your clients are actually wanting. And in terms of actually developing that, that's where I'll come in and help evaluate, this is where you're currently at, this is where you're looking to go, and these are all the potential new cool features that we might add or that your clients are really asking for. So really it's going to be about, how do we get you from where you're at to where you're looking to go? And how well prepared is your current technology ecosystem to get you there?
Yeah, just one more thing on that. I think you might be able to even boil it down to something as simple as, me and my team are going to be looking at the who and the what, and Andrew might be looking at the how and the when. And those two things have to marry somehow to show how everything fits together. And that eventually will become your roadmap and will become a lot of your strategy and vision. But we are definitely looking through slightly different lenses to help build the full picture.
So customers will go through the session, kind of go through these questions and maybe start thinking about the impacts of those questions. What will be the follow-up process after these reviews? Jonathan?
Yeah, on the strategy side, usually what you're going to get from us is like a 5 to 10 page document, usually in the format of like a PDF or a slide deck, with the kind of the results of those conversations, so that we can help categorize things of where you might have some strengths, where you might have some weaknesses, some opportunities, or where we're just not sure. It's unclear as to what you have. Maybe there's some holes in the conversation that might exist, so that you can take that back and help build a better plan for, like, is this something we need? Are we ready to invest in the future? Do we have too many unknowns? Where do we want to focus our attention? And maybe shine some light across the organization, even at the broader stakeholders, where you could say, like, is this how we feel right now? Do we feel like these are where we've got the heaviest lift or the biggest weaknesses in our strategy and our organization, but we've got these strengths that we need to kind of build on as well? And it really gives you a document that gives an assessment through our eyes, through the experience that we have across the various industries, across different kinds of brands and customer types, and try and give you a tool really to kind of take that back to your organization and really assess what you're looking to do to move forward and how you can move quickly and meet some of those objectives that you may have set up for yourself, whether those are revenue goals or customer goals or acquisition or churn prevention or all of these things that we talk about from like a KPI perspective. Being able to look and say, okay, we've got opportunity here and maybe we need help because maybe this is not what our strengths are. Or it might even say, we're on a pretty good path, and some of these areas where we're weak, we just need to prop up, but we have the internal fabric of our organization to go do this and be well on your way. So it can be a good catalyst to movement once we get through that.
Andrew, are there any notable differences from the strategy process?
I'll say it works largely the same. So after our review, I'll work with my team to come up with a customer report. And it may be that you've got a great team in place, but the wrong tools, or maybe the wrong processes. But that's really what we'll dig into in the report, is what we've seen in the industry and how we make our recommendations based on that.
Are there any final comments or pieces of advice for anyone that's going into these meetings? Anything that they might want to know before they go into those sessions? Jonathan?
I think one thing I would just say is, if you're planning to schedule one of these sessions, definitely come in with an open mind, but also this is an advantage of having kind of a third party to talk to. And in some cases, you might even equate it with like a therapy session or something, right? Where these can be tricky things to talk about internally sometimes. You got a lot of opinions, maybe some institutional knowledge. There might be some blockers that you're just constantly dealing with. And it's a great opportunity to have a very open conversation with somebody who's just here to help. We'll certainly prompt with a lot of the questions, try and shine some light on some of the things that it might be confusing or different for you. But also, this is a really great opportunity to kind of lay bare some of the concerns and fears that you might have that may not be a normal, comfortable conversation inside an executive team meeting or a management meeting or a board meeting or what have you. We find that this can be a great opportunity to explore some of the things that you're just not sure if you're good at, or you're not sure if you've done well, or if you've built the right plan for the future. It's a great opportunity to sit with us, who we do this every day, and we do it with lots of different companies across lots of different industries. So we do have visibility into what's going on the marketplace and the technology side, what customers are demanding out there, and we can put fresh eyes on maybe the problems that feel old and stale to you or maybe confusing, and give you an opportunity to get these reports, bring it back to your organization, and feel really energized with the opportunity of saying, there's things we can do here to really grow the business, to scale the business, to plan for the future. Maybe there's some renewed excitement with the opportunity of that as well. But definitely don't hold back. This is a low risk opportunity to share a lot of the things you might not share in other environments, and to be able to get a really honest report and a review of where you are and where you might be headed into the future.
Andrew, is there anything you wanted to add?
I'll say that the folks we tend to work with at companies tend to know your industry, tend to have a lot of domain knowledge. And where we really come in and add value is our knowledge of industry standards, technologies, and processes in general. Your technology team, if you have one, is probably going to be pretty heads down, implementing features and fixing bugs and trying to just get things working. And where we come in is really, how can we incorporate some of these new technologies into some of that domain knowledge that you have? Or, how do we fix an aspect of your current technology that's just not working like you want it to? It's not that we're here trying to replace your existing team. We're really just providing sounding board, essentially.
So that wraps up another insightful conversation here at Software Savvy. Next steps, I will be dropping the landing page with the form if anyone's interested in how their business could benefit from our 1-hour strategy or tech review sessions with either Andrew or Jonathan. You can head over to our website, learn more, and apply for a session. These spaces will be limited, so be sure to sign up, take full advantage of this opportunity, and don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn to stay updated with what's going on at Metova. Be sure to subscribe to Software Savvy wherever you get your podcasts, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks. Thank you, guys.